Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Let's learn about part 1 of poem number 4, Literature Reader, Flamingo, A Thing of Beauty by John Keats. In this part, the focus will be on the detailed line by line explanation of the poem. So let's now move on. First of all, let's have a quick look at some of the important points about the life of John Keats. John Keats was born in London in the year 1795 and died in Rome in 1821. He was a British romantic poet and his poetry was characterized by sensual imagery. He had the powerful ability to sway and delight the readers. Some of his popular works include Endymion, Isabella, and Lamia. Unfortunately, he died at a very early age, but he left indelible mark on English poetry. Poem introduction. This poem, A Thing of Beauty, belongs to romantic genre. This poem is written in rhyming couplets, and this is an excerpt from John Keats' poetic romance Endymion that was published in the year 1818. Endymion's theme is love, beauty, and youth. And this poem reflects upon the poet's attitude towards beauty. And this is this poetic romance, Endymion, is based on a Greek legend in which Endymion is a beautiful and young shepherd. And according to this legend, it is said that this young shepherd once while attending his sheep, he just had the vision of the moon goddess Cynthia, and he felt so much fascinated, he felt so much enchanted by this vision that he almost followed the goddess and just he went across the forest and across the woods and the oceanic lands just to have the vision of the goddess Cynthia again. So this is the main theme of the poem, that a thing of beauty is a joy forever and it never fades away. This is the most important theme of the poem, and according to this, according to the poet, beauty can be found anywhere. It can be in any form. A beautiful thing can refer to a thing of nature, any object from nature, any living thing or any non-living thing, a person, a moment, anything. So in this way, thing of beauty transcends time. It is not restricted or limited to a particular phase of time. It goes beyond time. Similarly, it has the ability to transform life. Due to the presence of things of beauty, the life of human beings get transformed from negative to positive. And in this way, the thing of beauty has therapeutic quality. It treats human being, it treats them and helps them to get out of their sorrows or all sorts of hopelessness. So, and one another thing on which the poet tries to focus is that any object can be a thing of beauty, any object from nature or any tale, any noble deed of human beings, especially of our ancestors or great men, warriors. So, overall, the poet wants to say that these things of beauty are very vital in our life. They're just like precious gift from heaven. So let's have the complete poem here. It is a short poem, and one another important fact about this poem, that these lines that are included in this poem in your syllabus, these are actually the beginning lines of that poetic romance Endymion, and this is the very first line even of that poem Endymion. So the poet starts like this. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness, but still will keep a bower quiet for us, and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Therefore, on every morrow are we reading a flowery band to bind us to the earth, spite of despondence, of the inhuman dearth of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over-darkened ways made for our searching. Yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits. Such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon for simple sheep. And such are daffodils with the green world they live in, and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make against the hot season. The mid forest brake, rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead. All lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring onto us from the heavens brink. So, such a beautiful poem. Now, let's move on to explanation part. According to the poet, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. It is an eternal source of joy. Anything that we consider a beautiful thing or a thing of beauty will only be a thing of beauty if it is a source of joy, if it is a continuous eternal source of joy. So in other words, poet wants to say that a thing of beauty is an everlasting source of joy, pleasure, happiness, hope, positivity, and its loveliness increases. According to the poet, the loveliness of a thing of beauty increases. It always increases. It never decreases. It will never pass into nothingness, or it will never decrease, or it will never diminish. The impact of the real thing of beauty will never diminish. It never dies. It never fades away. But on the other hand, things of beauty are available for us on this surface of earth, just like uh, a bower or a small forest or small garden with small and young and small and old and small trees that provide peace and quiet place for us where human beings can sit and rest and forget all their misfortunes and sorrows. Similarly, bower here means a place, a shady place is referred here as bower. Bower means a shady place and a sleep full of sweet dreams. So, in one another way, the poet wants to say that things of beauty are just like sleep full of sweet dreams. They are never nightmares. They are sleep full of sweet dreams, and they are good health. They provide us good health, and they provide us quiet breathing. So, because of the presence of things of beauty, we can have peaceful time on the surface of earth. We can have sweet dreams and good health and normal, healthy life. Therefore, on every morrow. So we should observe that this poetic line starts with the word therefore. What is therefore for? What is it? What is it explaining? Therefore here means as we know what is the value of a thing of beauty, and that is the reason that we know that things of beauty, how vital they are for us and how important they are in our life. Because of their presence, we forget our sorrows, and they are a continuous source of inspiration for us. They give us hope always. They create a kind of positive atmosphere for us on this surface of earth. So therefore, on every morrow are we reading a flowery band to bind us to the earth. And reading, to read means to just weave or to string flower in the form of an encircled band. And actually we do not make any such thing. We do not make a flowery band every morning, every next day. We do not make any such thing. But the poet here wants to convey that we make such efforts, such combined effort that we always try to remain in close contact with this beautiful earth that is source of eternal source of such things of beauty. Now further the poet says, spite of despondence. Spite means malice or ill will or any negative factor. Now, in the couple of lines, the poet here is trying to convey that our life is full of different negative elements. There are various factors that surround us in our life that may make us unhappy, that may just compel us to be totally hopeless, and we'll just be gloomy. So for example, how which things are all such kind of things, which spites are present of despondence, spite of the inhuman dearth of noble nature. Inhuman dearth means cruel or unkind inadequacy of people with noble nature. All people are not good. Most of the people are of evil nature. So similarly, of the gloomy days, life is not always bed of roses. Most of the time, we remain sad due to failures of one or other type. Similarly, spite of all the unhealthy and overdarkened ways made for our searching, we are human beings. We are almost engaged in a kind of rat race, and every time we do not become successful in our effort, many a times we fail, and because and to reach our goals, to attain all our targets, many a times we devise some wrong methods to achieve our goals. Unhealthy and overdarkened ways here refers to wrong practices or wrong methods and wrong ways of living that we have created for our searching for what? Happiness, pleasure, or satisfaction in life. Yes, the poet says, yes, in spite of all, there are some shape of beauty that moves away the pall from our dark spirit. So, in one hand, we see that the poet gives examples of things that make us unhappy. Now, the poet is telling us that, yes, in spite of all here means all the different forms of negativity, in spite of all those factors that make us our life not worth living, that make us sad, unhappy, and that compel us to lose our hope. But in spite of all such things, on the other hand, there are some shapes of beauty that have the ability to remove the pall or the covering of sadness from our dark spirit, or almost sad and dead spirits or hearts. Now, in the following lines, the poet gives some example of such beautiful things. Such the sun. Now, the poet starts giving us example of things of beauty by choosing such examples from the rich bounty of nature. The poet says, the sun, the moon, trees old and young, trees old and young, long, tall and short trees that have grown together, grown up, sprouting up to create a shady boon or a place just like a blessing full of shade for simple sheep, for innocent human beings. Simple sheep. Here is a little biblical reference. Simple sheep, John Keats, instead of saying innocent human being, he has employed this expression, simple sheep. According to Bible, Jesus Christ is considered as a shepherd and all human beings sheep. So Jesus Christ is the shepherd of human beings. So, and such are. Now, the next example from nature the poet gives, daffodils are kind of flowers, beautiful flowers with the green world they live in. Now, here we see the poet is giving us different pictures of nature, like a place full of flowers or a forest enriched with daffodil flowers. Similarly, clear rills that for themselves are cooling covert make against the hot season. The poet just is asking us to imagine a scene, beautiful scene, that clear rills or clear small streams of water with clear water that are flowing on the surface of earth, and uh, these rills have cooling covert at their banks at both the sides to protect themselves from the hot season. Now, cooling covert here refers to thickets or a small overgrowth of some bushes or plants. So that gives cooling effect to the water of the clear rills. At the same time, covert is a kind of place, a kind of hiding place, thicket where some kind of birds can hide and protect themselves from larger animals or birds and keep feel safe and protected and feel comfortable. So in other words, the poets wants to say that things of beauty create such kind of atmosphere for the human beings and all creatures that they feel happy, they feel safe, they feel at rest, they feel comfortable, they feel at peace, and they enjoy their presence on the surface of earth. Now, the another example of from nature of another example of thing of beauty, the mid forest break. Now here the expression mid forest break means a small thicket or small overgrowth of plants, especially bushes in the middle part of a forest, the mid forest break, rich enriched with, overgrown with, scattering off, sprinkling off everywhere. What is found? Fair musk rose blooms. Musk rose is a kind of flower, blooms. Fair means bright colored. And so, up to here, the poet has given us examples of things of beauty from the rich bounty of nature. Now, the poet chooses another field and says that, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead. Mighty dead means the powerful dead, powerful ancestors, and who became very much popular because of their deeds and their actions, their contribution for the welfare of the mankind. And even after many years of their death, they are even remembered today, and they inspire us, they give us hope, they motivate us. So such mighty, whenever their dooms will be decided, their fate will be decided on the doomsday, and so that moment also will be full of grandeur, or that moment also will be full of magnificence and glory. So such moment of the mighty dead, when their dooms will be decided, that also will be that also can be considered a thing of beauty. So certainly the dooms of the mighty dead will be very much full of grandeur or magnificence, as they will be rewarded for their good deeds. Similarly, the poet says, anything can be thing of beauty, like all lovely tales that we have heard or read. Stories inspire us, story that we hear or listen, or that we read, they also become a kind of tool to motivate us. So in this way, now the poet concludes here. The poet can go on and on and on, giving us the list of things of beauty. So now the poet here wants to conclude that the things of beauty are available on the surface of the earth, just like an endless fountain of immortal drink that is being poured onto us. And this liquid of immortal drink is being poured onto us from the heaven's brink, or the from the place of God, as if heaven is a kind of river containing this immortal drink, and from that river, this immortal drink is being poured on upon all of us human beings. So, in this way, beautifully, the poet concludes. Now, mighty dead also, although in the next session we'll discuss in detail the figures of speech used and employed by the poet here in this poem. Mighty dead Oxymoron as used, you can see mighty and that almost contrary to each other, and this suggests the use of oxymoron. So let's move on now. Let's check your understanding on the basis of this explanation. Let's see how much you understood, and just think about the answer. Who is the poet of A Thing of Beauty? Right answer is John Keats. Which things cause suffering to human beings? Option A, lack of virtues and inhuman acts. What is the endless fountain and what is its effect? Option C, a thing of beauty is endless fountain and it gives happiness. How is a thing of beauty joy forever? Option D, because its beauty never ends and leaves a lasting impact. What does a thing of beauty do for us? All these. Gives hope, gives happiness, removes pain and suffering. What are mighty dead in the poem? Option D, great respect worthy ancestors, especially dead emperors or warriors. What is the sad, endless fountain of immortal drink? Option D, all the things of beauty. Question number 8. A word which means malice is. Now, I want you to answer this question in the comment box. And with this, we come to the end of today's session. Thank you very much.